Hello. Not too shabby. How about yourself? All right, I am getting things set up and running. I'm to send an invitation.
Howdy, everyone. Hope you're all doing well.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Are you?
I'm fine. Well, for some values of fine.
At least you have something
That's
to
completely fair. Which reminds me, I hope it's not a problem, but I was thinking of having a beer.
I give you permission to have a beer.
I'm 2 glasses of wine, 2/3 of a bottle of wine down, and the shittiest cocktail I've ever made.
The shittiest? What did you put
Yeah.
in it?
What? It's the shittiest cocktail made.
Mm-hmm.
It was 1 part gin, 1 part orange juice, and then I filled the rest of the glass with a berry LaCroix,
Oh,
something.
that.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that sounds bad.
It was not good.
That sounds like a homemade White Claw.
Man, listen, one, LaCroix is perfectly fine for leveling out a shitty whatever. 2, I put blueberries in it so they would float around, and now I just have a bunch of really, alcohol-saturated blueberries.
That's, you can't go wrong there.
I'm living my best life.
I hear that. Well, hello everyone. My name is Ish, aka Elven Wizard King. I will be your dungeon master. I think we're waiting on one more person,
Yes.
but as soon as Count Drincula arrives, then we can kind of get the show on the road. How is everyone today? Hopefully everyone has had a good day.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
I'm great.
Yeah, no complaints from me.
I was doing just fine until I realized that sometime today I must have used hand sanitizer that smells like cologne, but not good
no.
cologne.
Uh-oh.
So, a mixture of alcohol and whale vomit?
Yes.
Ah, yes, ambergris scented cologne.
Oof.
Blah. So who has any Dungeons and Dragons related questions? I know we have a varying level of expertise.
I know that Mard and I have been playing for 20 years, so
Excuse me, 26. But I'm also very rusty. I haven't played 5th Ed very much, so if there are things that I'm trying to revert to 3-5, just let me know.
Just make up things. Nothing has penalties. It's just advantage, disadvantage.
Oh goodness, yeah. And don't worry, if you ever catch me asking for a spot check or a will save, I'll put a quarter in the tip jar.
Did they get rid of will saves?
They rolled it into being individual stat saves rather than being
Yes.
Okay.
Will Con and Will Con and Fort. No, Fort and Dex. It's a Dex save.
That makes sense.
Your boy's gone. Instead, now you can do like you can actually have like a strength save, a con save, a dex save, a will, an int, and a charisma save. Although I don't know what a charisma save is unless this is like you're charming your way out of a situation. The bomb goes off and you're trying to smile your way out of the problem. Your boy loves it when his dumb jokes kill a chat.
Sorry.
I just didn't have a good follow-up.
I'm so sorry. I was not paying attention because I got an email from some rando that says, "Is this your work email?" And when I started thinking about it, I'm like, wait, this looks familiar. I got the exact same email about a month ago, and it has to be some kind of some scam.
Yeah, that sounds like a phishing thing.
It's never
Right.
your work email. Remember, always deny until like you legally are subpoenaed into telling the truth.
Are you saying that from experience or?
That sounds like
No
I
comment.
live.
I played the fifth.
That is completely fair. So, having played as long as y'all have, I imagine that you probably started sometime in the Gonzo 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I actually cut my teeth on Palladium Books games like Rifts and Robotech and so on, which is a very absurd way to play role-playing games ever, let alone your first time.
Yeah.
I'm actually not familiar with those. I started with AD&D, and I've pretty much just done D&D since. So
That's a good way to be. I think I played 2 games of 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons, whichever one it was, and then from there on, like went directly into those other games, and it was kind of chaos ever since.
sounds like fun.
In my experience, AD&D is like so. I played AD&D online with friends when I was like in middle school, so nearly 20 years ago. Oh my god, I don't want to think about it. And then like after that, like progressed through like 3.0, 3.5, and then in high school I played a lot of like White Wolf stuff. And into early college, like when I was in college, I DM'd a lot of White Wolf stuff. And then I skipped 4th ed. Played a lot of Pathfinder,
As many-
and then dove into 5th ed real hard. Like every other like neckbeard.
Yeah, I've only done the odd numbers. I have all of the 2nd ed books and played a lot of the 2nd ed like CRPG variants, but never actually played a game at a table.
The only part of 2nd ed that's worth remembering is Baldur's Gate. Don't worry.
Oh, trust
That's
me,
fair.
I remember.
I know you do.
I have a very heavily modded
Hello.
game that I'm working through right now.
It is Count Drincula, or at least I would. That is your screen name. I was about to ask what everyone would like to be called.
I mean, count works. People usually just shorten it.
Excellent.
As always, Sujaro is fine.
Kitten, I guess.
Then I guess I'll go by Mard and not actually give you my real name.
I mean, part of the amusing part of that about that is that I'm probably just going to call you all by your character names eventually, anyway. But all the same.
That's fair.
good to
My
know.
character name is much better than my screen name.
I was gonna say, like, I'll answer to Erie just fine, whatever.
And character names, for sure.
All right. So hello everyone. Now that we are all here, I'm glad that everyone has assembled. I am excited. I have a lot of fun and exciting things planned for y'all. And I guess I want to start with everyone introducing their characters, but I want to make sure that I am not missing out on anything. So I guess let me preface that with two things. First of all, does anyone have any just like general questions, just any kind of curiosity points or what have you? Anything they would like to address before I go on some long-winded speech about something?
I've never played any sort of D&D before, so I know nothing. Like, absolutely nothing.
And that's okay. We will help you along 100%. Let me see. Sorry, I'm locating a couple of other things. And then point number 2, normally a session 0 is a kind of apportioned to address any kind of issues that we might want to bring up. If people are just comfortable talking about, like, what they're okay with in a game or not, we can have that conversation. I also have, which I was ill-prepared and I didn't send this out, but I also have like a checklist sheet that you can just send to me to say, hey, these are the things that I'm cool with, these are the things that I'm not. I'm not an edgelord. I only occasionally play one on stream, but I promise you I won't ever do anything weird or creepy or bizarre that will overstep any bounds, but I cannot guarantee that I won't like accidentally come across any kind of subject matter that might be distressing. And as an example I give is that in another game, one of my players is deathly afraid of rats, doesn't like even just the description of rats, so I stay away from that subject. That's just a for instance. But does anyone have anything that they'd like to say or contribute in terms of like comfort levels and maybe subject matter?
Don't kill the puppy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't do violence against animals.
That is totally fine. I can live with that.
That's it for me. Animal-like monsters, gnolls, sure. Puppies, not so much.
I'm sad to say that sounds like that's from personal experience. I'm sure there have been some jerk DMs out there who have been like real descriptive of real awful things.
Not so much DMs, just like media in general. It's
That's
a thing
fair.
I prefer to avoid.
100%. I am A-okay with that. I'm leaving an awkward pause in case anyone else had anything else to say. All right, awkward pause achieved. Looks like everyone is in the Roll20, which is good. If you all are so inclined, would you go ahead and describe your characters to each other?
Not all at once. What did you want to know? Like the names and race and stuff like that?
Just as much as you're willing to say. Class and race is helpful, though not necessarily like. If you want to keep that, a little bit closer to the chest, you absolutely can. But just anything you're willing to share, what you think is relevant to the kind of play experience. So you might say that your character is rambunctious and has a real appetite for life, or you could just say they have this color hair, these color eyes, wear this kind of clothes, and never smile, and then that would be all that you would say, and that would be acceptable as well. Just whatever you think people should know.
Okay. So when you see my character, you see very short for a human, about 4.5 feet tall, crow-like creature. No wings, bipedal. Wearing some rather heavy-duty armor for such a small individual. Carrying quite a lot of books. And he doesn't speak much. I am playing a Kenku paladin, and I will largely be describing my actions for reasons that will hopefully become quickly apparent.
Excellent. Thank you. And before we move on to the next person, I want to make sure I pronounce the name correctly. Is it Marlowe?
Marlowe, yeah.
Excellent. Okay. All right.
I can go. So, my character is Rezi, just Rezi, one name, like Cher. And she is a satyr bard. So she is short and kind of chubby, with tawny skin speckled with dark brown spots, so small that they look like freckles. She has curly auburn hair, and because she's a satyr, her hair is sort of all over her head, of course, but it also goes down onto her neck. So she's got sort of like a little scruffy, not really a beard, but I don't know, fur. she's just got a lot of fur. She has sort of curling taupe horns that wrap around white tufted ears. And if you look at her, you'll notice that she has very clearly a flair for the dramatic and opulent. So she just wears a lot of jewelry. She has jewelry on her horns, ears, hands, fingers, neck, cleavage, shoulders, ankles, and hooves. So she really likes to sparkle. Yeah, I guess that's how she looks.
Fantastic. So she has the minimum amount of flair.
Yes.
That's excellent. And I didn't mean to cut you off in case you had anything else to say.
Nope, that's it.
Excellent.
Eerie is a tabaxi with ashen gray fur and emerald green eyes. Not to give any details about her class, but an overwhelmingly... aloof isn't the right word, but something like strange. A peculiar humanoid who is really out for her own variety of fun, we'll say. Keeping everything as looking at her, you would see a ashen gray cat, essentially, bipedal cat, shroud in light purple claws.
Oh, pretty.
I'm just gonna so I don't think y'all can actually see the backstory stuff that I wrote, and I don't know if any of you guys wrote backstory. I'm just gonna throw like a PDF of it in chat so that like if people want to read it, they can.
Oh yeah, can you tell me where you find that?
Only
I have something to do.
Only the DM can see it.
Yeah, that's what I thought was the case about D&D Beyond, because I can't remember like how much detail was like actually available, but like I wrote it out, and I there's no way to fucking see it. So I just threw a PDF in chat if y'all are interested.
It might be possible for you to see each other's characters and click into them, and then if you pull up the notes, you'll see it under backstory. I can, and I know that in other campaigns I've been in, people can look at each other's characters, but sometimes they're toggled in a very specific spot to be private, not public. And in that case, you won't be able to see them. But if you want to like click into somebody's character, you can usually do that.
Oh, I want to say that Mard was looking into mine earlier and couldn't see the backstory. So
Gotcha. And that might specifically be the case where the backstory doesn't show to everyone.
But I figure, like, if y'all want to share that kind of stuff, this is, like, the private chat is a great place to just, like, dump that kind of thing.
Yeah, I wrote one as well. Also, if anybody has character art, I have character art. So if you have some, I would love to see them.
Oh, sure. So Jero, were you done talking about your character, or did you have some more?
I'm done.
Okay.
Y'all will get the vibe from her as we go. I promise.
I'm sure.
Roleplay heavy character. No holds barred.
Okay. My character is Talia Feathermoon. She is a high elf. I wrote a pretty detailed backstory for her, in which I gave her class. I don't know if you could see that, DM, but it's there.
I read it when you had pointed it out earlier, but I can look it over again because my memory, she's not what she used to be.
Yeah, I don't know where to find the PDF either, so thank you. She's a moon elf, a fairly young one. She's like 98, I think I wrote, and has just finished her studies for now anyways at a magic school and is on her way on the road to seek adventure. She's vivacious and bright and curious and very kind. She's always putting other people's needs before her own. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't really get into like what she wears or how she decorates herself very much, but you know, she's got like pale blue skin, silvery eyes, like white silver hair that's long, I guess. And yeah, she's an elf, so humanoid character.
Excellent.
Yeah, I guess I probably should have specified with Resi, although it's implied, that she is half goat. So her torso is humanoid, but then she has like goat legs.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'm just cat, raven, goat, and elf. I mean, you're one dog away from a Musicians of Bremen, but maybe that'll be later. All right, looks like we are off to the races. So one thing I want to let you know that you all have found yourselves in the town of Hillsfar, which is very close to the ancient ruins of Mithranor, the old elven capital to the old elven empire. Hillsfar is just so far a quiet farming hamlet that has existed for numerous generations and has been the focal point of some rather strange and dangerous occurrences, including a localized clash between two demonic entities. And in as such, Hillsfar is in disrepair. There are big chunks of it that have been rendered with pockmarks, buildings that are still trying to recover from the recent calamity. But you have been drawn here for your various different reasons and motivations, or perhaps just by some random dint of luck. But as you enter Hillsfar, you notice that you collectively draw stares for your unusual nature, whether you are perhaps one of the few elves who has visited Hillsfar in a handful of dozen years, or if you are just a kind of creature that they have either never seen or seldom seen in recent memory. So you enter town, and it is busy, but it also seems to respond with pockets of silence wherever you go, as people kind of give stares and quiet their conversations with your approach, and the pockets then dissipate as you move along, and eventually will resume with activity as you move further away. I appreciate the title of that backstory. As you make your way into the kind of Hellsfar city or town square, I will say that you all kind of notice you arrived at approximately the same time, perhaps not from the same direction, so you might meet in the town square and just realize that you are strangers in a strange land. But once you get to the town square, you do notice that there appears to be a rather brilliant fountain at the very center. And standing by that fountain is a short, old gnomish lady who is tending to the fountain in some strange way. But when you approach, she notices each of you in kind and kind of pulls herself with great effort up onto the ledge of the fountain and tries to get your attention, waving her walking stick at each of you in succession. Well, hello there. Oh my, please do. I have lots to say to you if you are ready to speak to me. But if not, please come back by the fountain. I'm here most days, most hours.
Thou meanest well. I greet thee well.
Oh my! How polite! The augury did not tell me that you would be so, but I am more than pleasantly surprised. But how rude of me! I have not even introduced myself. And just as a out of character question, does anybody not approach this old lady?
No, Resi will sort of walk up and insert herself directly into the action, although she doesn't speak yet.
I was going to say, do we want to do this in initiative order or anything?
I mean, not necessarily, but you can if you like.
Well, I have approached and am now just staring at the little gnomish woman, cocking my head, but also keeping an eye around me at these strange people, looking to see if anybody has any good books on their person.
I too have approached her and smiled at her and told her good day, and now I am just waiting for her to reveal herself and explain why she wants my attention.
So she, let's see, I'll just place her right here. And y'all probably don't have tokens, so we can figure that out here momentarily. And I'm just going to make some placeholders. You shouldn't need them, but just more for funsies. Let's see. We'll worry about that momentarily. But she says, "Oh, thank you for coming by and speaking to me. It was just as the stars had foretold. I'm glad that you are here. I have been given the task of informing you that you have a great and important destiny to play here in Hillsfar if you are willing to accept the mantle of destiny."
Destiny, no. That's making quite a tall order of things, don't you think?
Yes, you are correct about that. You beautiful, gorgeous thing, she says to you, just reaching out like to kind of wish for a pet, but not really quite making that connection yet.
But takes a step back.
Oh, my apologies. You are a rather comely looking individual. But that aside, it is through the conduit of myself that I am to give you this very heavy but interesting and exciting news. The fates have chosen you to enact some greater good.
Honestly, I'm not surprised by this news. I had a feeling that this has been coming for a long time.
You must have...
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
The greater good, you say? I'm really interested in that. Go on.
The lottery of my destiny. Oh,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
oh.
You're quite faint.
Oh.
You might want to bump the gain a bit.
Sorry, I was being faint intentionally.
Oh,
When startled, Marlowe tends to just get stuck a little.
oh. The little old gnomish lady just grabs one of those listening horns and kind of points it in your direction. But she kind of like shakes it as if it's not working and puts it back in her pack. And she says, well, all the same, I have something for you to do if you are ready. It is something of a test of fate, if you will. Fate usually tends to be pretty certain, but this time it's a little bit wavery. If you will indulge this old woman performing one of her last tasks in this world to assure that her own fate is what it should be, I can send you on this job, and I can guarantee you that you will have fabulous rewards.
What should be spoken here, where our fate hidden auger hole may rush and seize us? Let's away.
I am not so interested in great fortune, but still, I am interested in the greater good. You have my ears.
I'm definitely interested in the fortune. Definitely. Could you be a little bit more specific what kind of great reward we might be discussing here?
Well, you see that there have been a great many people who have combed the ruins of Mythdraenor to beseech the old magics that exist there. I can tell you of a great place that still yet contains some of that magic. I believe that it has taken corporeal form, and it can be retrieved in a way that will make you, if not rich, at least prosperous.
I mean, it sounds like a pretty good time. What do you folks think? Strange bird? Cat? Elf
Beseech
lady?
the old magics.
It sounds interesting, yeah. But what's the catch? Nothing's ever quite this easy, no?
It sounds like a good opportunity to get some good done in the world, but at the same time, I still don't know if I trust her.
I appreciate your candor, but all the same, if you decline, that is certainly your prerogative. But I can tell you that this is not going to be easy. I did not choose you because fate believed that you would have a cakewalk through this journey, but rather because you are equipped to meet it head on.
Well, yeah, cake sounds like a good time, so this could be fun.
Oh my, yes. In fact, I can have one ready when you come back.
Splendid, yeah? Shall we go?
Who can control his fate? 'Tis not so now. Be not afraid.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm definitely going to need to stock up on some provisions before we hit the road.
I will as well. Do you mind if
I mean,
I
I don't
accompany you while we restock?
Not at all. The more the merrier. Do you, by any chance, have any money?
I do.
Good, good. We'll definitely need that.
Cat lady, would you like to join us?
Yeah, I don't have plans for the afternoon yet.
Excellent.
Very well. I shall be waiting here at the fountain when you are ready.
Marlowe carefully follows behind the group.
I imagine him just like the way birds do when they walk, kind of like with their little feet, like awkwardly. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like toddling side to side a little bit.
Oh yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolute, just giant bird, but no wings. It's a problem. It's a curse.
I love it. Would we know where? Like, did we see a shop whenever we came into town?
Oh yeah, this hamlet, though relatively small in the grand scheme of things, is pretty well equipped. You would say that you could find just about anything that your heart's desires that isn't magical innately, if you have the coin.
Okay. Well, companions, what do you think you need first? Where would you like to go?
Well, we're going to need food that will last us on the road. Things that won't spoil. And we'll need medicine.
Yes, wine is also what I had in mind.
Ah, I see.
Beggar's book outworths a noble's blood. Marlowe takes his book from his bag and sort of holds it up beseechingly.
Birdman, are you wanting to sell your book?
Marlowe looks offended and snatches the book back and puts it back in his pack.
And by the way, if y'all happen to have your character art, do me a favor and either send it to me or place it in the Discord, and I can add it as your character's token. If not, I'm just going to pick ones, and just bear in mind that they will be placeholders until you give me a different one, and then we can kind of go from there.
Okay.
I will wait until next time because the only art I found is definitely something somebody else made, and I don't want to steal it from them.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, same.
I mean, I just got mine off of Pinterest. I assume they're not going to be used in like marketing materials or anything.
That's fair. There's just so few like really good Kenku drawings, so I'm gonna try to make my own for next time.
Yeah, no worries. Let's see. All right, I beg your pardon. I'm going to be away from the from my computer for about 3 minutes, but feel free to talk amongst yourself. I'll be right back.
Okay. Very nice.
Also, if the poetry gets to be too much or is distracting, please let me know and I can dial things back a bit.
No, it's great so far.
No, I think it's working great. I mean, definitely, like, communication will be easier once we start bumping your vocabulary up a little bit.
Yeah, I've been taking notes of things people have said, so,
I tried to find a picture of a great-tailed grackle at McDonald's for you, but I'm not so successful yet. I'll just have to go out to the local McDonald's and snap a picture tomorrow for you.
here's the one that I'm using as, like, a temporary thing.
I love that.
That works. That works great. It looks like a grackle at a Ren fair.
It's cute.
Please understand, that's what I'm going for.
I actually really love that, Lauren. Sorry,
The
Mark.
picture of Marlo is really, really adorable.
Yeah, I
love
really
him.
love it.
Yeah, so my whole thing, since I haven't gotten to upload my backstory because I haven't finished writing it yet, is Marlo is a paladin, but a paladin of the god of knowledge. And the archive that he worked in just happened to be right next to a theater. So takes all of his best lines from the plays.
That's like where he acquired all of his language.
Yeah. And Kinkus can only speak through mimicry. They can't actually like form their own language.
Interesting.
I'm going to take this minute to read Sojaro, your backstory.
Enjoy it. I put several hours into writing it, which is either positive or negative. I don't know which.
No, it's positive. This is the fun part. Yeah, I definitely had like 3 glasses of wine and then a really nice time writing mine. It was a lot of fun.
I love your cat voice, Sojiro.
Here, I put a lot of work into building that character.
Clearly.
He's only been talking in the cat voice around the apartment for like the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I've been doing the like I've been like fully immersed in the character, just like saying young at the end of every sentence for the last like few weeks, building up to this point.
Asking Marg to feed you in a dish on the floor.
Yeah, like normal healthy people do.
Right, right.
Okay, I'm sorry, I am back.
No problem.
All right. Ooh, I love the art, by the way.
The art and the obvious like stock image of a cat.
It is excellent. I love it.
That cat in a purple dress.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to refill my beverage real quick while
Sure.
I guess tokens are being made.
That is a good idea. I'm gonna step away for 1 second.
Perfect.
Okay, I am ready to buy some road snacks in game now.
Excellent. Oops. Bless you. All right, there we go. We've got tokens. We are ready to rock and or roll. I just need to add one more quick thing. By the way, if you hear like this really obnoxious loud honking at any point, the apartment at which I live has this like food truck that comes by, and they honk to get everyone's attention, and they're usually here for about like all of 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Fun.
It is, and it's even more funny explaining that to each and every one of my D&D groups.
If we had started when I was like completely just not reading time zones correctly, thought we started, we have an ice cream truck that drives by playing Christmas songs very loudly at about 6:37 p.m. every day. So I understand. You have my sympathies.
Yeah, I'm on push to talk because I live in LA proper, and so it's just like it's so noisy. It's so noisy down here. Every call I'm on, and I work remotely. It's just like.
Boy. Oops.
I've only been to LA a handful of times, and I do remember it being very noisy every time I was there.
Yeah, in the city it's really loud. The biggest thing is I work off of a bus route, so buses are constantly stopping outside my place, and the brakes squeal every time.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. Is everybody back, or does anybody still need like a minute or two?
I think Sajaro is not quite back yet.
Okay, no worries. That'll give me some lead time on this.
One of the only things I remember from my trip to LA was seeing like a really drunk guy in a Spider-Man costume on Hollywood Boulevard. That stood out.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of that sort of thing down on Hollywood Boulevard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that area of town, but like other places were nice.
Yeah, it's just like a super, super like tourist zone, so it can be kind of obnoxious.
Mhm.
There's some cool stuff over there. Like if you're into Hollywood history, there is some cool stuff, but yeah, it's just kind of really tacky and yeah, sort of like a lot of shenanigans.
Yes.
What did I miss?
All of us complaining about traffic noise.
Yes.
Sorry. Can't help you.
Perfect.
Thank you for waiting. I have more alcohol. This
That's
time
important.
in a less shitty form.
I was gonna say, did you manage to make a cocktail even worse than the last one? But it sounds
No,
like
this
you
one's
didn't.
actually good. This one has I didn't use orange juice. I used raspberry syrup this time.
Mm.
It's still just gin and soda though.
I would say it's hard to go wrong with that, but it sounds like you previously did.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, I drank it.
Um,
Put enough gin into something, you can't really care about the rest of it.
it's true. All right. So y'all are getting ready to do some shopping. It sounds like, and potentially getting prepared for the road ahead. Is there anything in particular anyone would like to do, purchase, see, experience?
Yes, I would like to find, I guess, like a fine wine and cheese shop, sort of someplace that would have, so not just like your run-of-the-mill sort of like produce or like food cart situation, but something that's like a little bit more upscale.
Cheese is important in any adventure.
It certainly is. Let's see, and I just need to add a couple more. So, yeah, I will say that you find a rather fine upscale cheese and cured meat shop. And I will say that it is called the Mozzarella Fella.
I love it.
And approaching the Mozzarella Fella, you notice that a great number of things within the shop are composed of cheese, even things that you would not expect to be cheese. For instance, the device that they use basically to handle their cash transactions appears to be made out of camembert.
Ugh, I just love the ingenuity of places like this, don't you? I say to the elven woman beside me.
It smells delicious, certainly.
The owner of the shop is this especially stout dwarven man that looks like he couldn't be an inch over 3.5 feet. You believe standing on some kind of stool behind the counter and kind of looking at all of you with his one good eye, each in turn, and says, "Ah, well met, friends. Surely you are here to take part in the fabulous world of cheese. The tour starts in a half hour, but if you have not the time to stay, I can simply sell you some of it while you are here."
This time I were choked with a piece of toasted cheese.
Well said, Brigman. Well said. Does the shop also sell wine, or am I going to have to go somewhere else to get that?
We have a small selection of wines. The stoppers are made out of cheese as well.
Oh, Oh, I love what you people are doing here. This is great.
It's time.
So I'll go look at the wines. Can you give me like a general sense of the price of the bottles?
Oh yes, and he gets down off of his like stoop. That he then you see him come from behind the counter, and he's wearing the stoop as a backpack that he then carries with him over to the wine that he then takes off and sets down and climbs up on so that he can address the price of the wine. And he just says, yes, the price of the wine can certainly vary, but he has a pointer that he also uses, and he points at the wine at the bottom. You'll find that the lower shelves would have the lower prices. I came up with that idea. I'm pretty proud of that one myself. But we have several selections that will go for a handful of copper. Last year's selection, price to move, you know.
Okay.
By the way, and this will be the first roll of the game, if anyone is keen to do so, but would somebody like to make an insight check? And if you don't know how to do that, I can help you with that.
Would you like us to roll in D20 or?
Whichever you prefer. And I need to, for like some of you might have this, some of you might not, but there's something called Beyond 20 that lets D&D Beyond talk to Roll20 so that you can just instantly click. But if it's easier for you, you can just do something like, yeah, perfect, just like that.
That worked. What did I roll?
Wait, where did this happen?
So this is me letting you kind of read the intentions of this dwarf. So you can roll a d20 and add your insight bonus if you have it, or your wisdom modifier if you don't.
Oh, no. I was asking where Martin just rolled, but I see that it's in the chat on Roll20. I think,
yes.
So Jaro, I think you have to put a slash in front of roll.
Oh no, how do I get to the chat? Oh, okay.
Ooh.
You're right. I'm way too drunk for this, though.
So
or just the right amount of drunk.
If I can offer a suggestion to folks, if you click on the little settings wheel in the upper right-hand side, you can enable 3D dice, which is nice because then you actually get dice that roll on like the tabletop. It's like, it's nice.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Also, if you roll directly on your character sheet, I can see the result.
Oh, on Beyond D&D or D&D Beyond?
Correct.
Where is the rolling option on that?
So you'll see. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you can just click the number. That's cool. I like that insight check much better.
Yeah. I would say, given the option, that's the one to take.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I like it on D&D Beyond. That's my vote.
Cool. And yeah, I can see the roll, so that's just as well.
I still go with that nat 20 plus 2 because
Yeah,
that was pretty solid. I'm not going to get another one of those for a hot minute.
No, I am 100% okay with that. But yes, we will do that. And it looks like 2 of you got natural 20s, which is very auspicious given it is the first roll of the campaign. But yes, at least 2 of you are very keen to notice this owner of the cheese shop, this dwarf, has no idea what he's doing regarding the wine. He's pricing wine like last year's model is like price to move because he doesn't know that wine gets better with age. You think that he's selling wine because he knows it pairs well with cheese, and he knows his cheese, but he has no idea what he's doing about the wine. That's just a fun thing that you noticed.
Erie will give the goat a tip on this, Resi a tip on this information.
Do you just like whisper it to me, or do you just say it out loud in front of him?
Whisper it to you, ensuring that the shop owner does not overhear.
Yeah, easily done. He's busy talking about how expensive the fortified wine is.
Oh God! Please don't overprice your fortified wines, because that's my man's out here selling Night Train Express for like 15 silver. Let's fucking go.
Okay. So, Resi will sort of turn to Cat of indiscernible gender at this point. So, kind of turn to the cat and wink at them, and will sort of turn back to the proprietor of the shop and say, "Oh, well, you know, funds are pretty tight these days. You know, I'll take approximately, let's say, we'll say, how much would 5 gold get me of the bottom shelf wine?"
He proceeds to go into the back, taking his same kind of... He like holds up a finger as if to say, "One moment." And he climbs down off his stool, puts it on his backpack, walks into the back, and comes back carrying a crate that you believe would hold probably 12 flasks of wine. And he says, "This many. If that sounds okay to you, I wouldn't want to empty your coffers, but this is what 5 would get you."
Wonderful, wonderful. And then if you could just do, you know, just a small little assortment of cheeses, like small packages of cheese, and wrap those up too. I'll go ahead and take all of that.
He walks over to a table where there's like a bunch of cheeses on display, and he like takes the tablecloth and wraps it up around the cheese and ties it up very finely. He doesn't do it he doesn't do it carelessly, but he finally wraps up all of those cheeses and basically puts that bindle on top of the crate of wine and says, will this do for you?"
It looks wonderful. It's marvelous. Yes, let's do it.
Excellent. That's yes, please. And will you be paying in gold pieces today?
Resi will sort of turn to the elven woman, expectantly, sort of looking as to see what her answer to that question would be.
Talia would smile gracefully at her and take out the required money from her purse and hand it over to the dwarf to pay for her wine.
He takes it eagerly and takes it over to the Camembert register and starts processing the purchase. And then, without missing much of a beat, he goes into the back and pulls out another bindle that has exactly the same cheese and just unfurls it onto the table. And he says, "Yes, pleasure doing business with you, but if you want to stay for the grand tour, I would love to have you. But you look like you are a group on the move. If you wish to come, we do tours every half hour on the half hour."
Grand tour?
Say that again.
Grand tour?
Oh, yes. Grand tour of the shop. It's there's a lot to see. Sometimes I don't get to all of it in a single tour. There are those who come back. And when he's saying this, it seems weird because this shop isn't especially big. You might, fit another 2 groups like yourselves in this shop and be shoulder to shoulder. But really, like, you've seen everything in the first minute that you're there. So it just seems weird that he'd be offering a grand tour.
I love him.
Sincerely haven't the time for a tour right now, my canary friend. You?
Grand tour?
Grand tour or no?
Toasted
we
cheese.
Really should be going, yeah?
All the same. The tour will be here when you come back, should you choose to do so. But please, you look like important individuals hungry for cheese. I suspect you'll be back before long.
Refuse to do so.
As my bird friend said.
Alas, what danger it will be to us. Toasted cheese.
Thank you, kind sir.
Of course, tell your friends.
We will.
As we exit the shop, Rezi will go ahead and crack one of those flasks of wine, and offer the elven woman who very kindly purchased it for her sort of the first drop.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Oh, as we left the shop, I opened like the first flask of wine, and I offered you the first drop, the first drink, and also said, thank you so much. That was so great of you.
That's very generous.
It's easy to tell, but the wine that you just purchased, like you could sell each of the 12 bottles for 5 gold. Like this dwarf didn't know he had. If you wanted to sell them, they're worth every if you keep them and drink them. But yeah, you have provisions. You have enough cheese to last you a week in the wilderness if you needed to make it last that long. You've got some decent provisions with you if you wish to take them with you, or squirrel them away in some other place if you wish not to take them. Does anybody else wish to do any shopping of any sort?
Talia stocked up on most of her adventuring supplies when she left Waterdeep, so she's pretty good to go.
Cool.
I don't know about the rest of you, though.
Erie is good for a few days.
Marlowe is likewise good, I believe.
Excellent. So the little old gnome lady, who, by the way, I forgot to mention, but she would have said something to the degree of her name, being Mildred. And she just waves you over. Well, hello, dearies. It's good to see you again. It looks like perhaps you are ready to receive the map and be on your way.
Thou art privy to thy country's fate, oh speak.
I love everything that you say. I wish I could just listen to it all day.
All day. Toasted cheese.
Yes, and such excellent cheese. Yes, the proprietor of that shop is quite the connoisseur. You did well to go there, but let us not tally much longer. Here, and she pulls out a pretty big map. Like, it's kind of hard for her to handle, as it kind of like almost topples in her grasp. But she thrusts the map at, let's say, Talia?
Talia reaches out her hand and carefully takes the map from her, not wanting to tear it, and opens it up so that the rest of the group can take a look.
So it's a pretty simple map, and it gives you a pretty decent kind of bird's eye view of the region. But it has some very specific instructions on how to traverse the land and get into the outer reaches of the ruins of Mythdrannor, the old elven city that once was the jewel of the Elven Empire. Excuse me. Where the X is marked as the kind of endpoint of this map, there is a small annotation in Elven, which obviously you can read, or at least I would presume. And it says, "Here thou shalt find that which is fixed, but not broken, and so in time it shall be."
Interesting.
And then just think, I mean, it's not, you don't have to memorize this or anything, but in case you were curious as to what the text was. Well then, there is your map. I do not wish to rush you into anything, but do go before the night falls, as that is what fate would seem to dictate.
All right, thank you for the advice, kind lady. We'll be on our way.
She bows deeply, pulls herself back up to the ledge of the fountain, and just kind of jumps in and starts to swim around in the fountain.
Marlo would like to do a insight check on this delightful lady.
By all means.
Marlo knows quite little.
Marlo gets the idea that the Mildred might be some kind of oracle or some kind of mysterious entity, or Mildred might just be a very well-meaning but otherwise clueless old woman who just seems to be at the right place at the right time, or some variation of that phrase. But at least the map that you have received seems to be fairly legitimate and is written in an old Elven script, basically just kind of like a cursive type of script, if you will, that just denotes that it is the real article. But otherwise, you have kind of the road in front of you, unless you wish to do anything within the city, and it would be you see that the time is waning. It is probably the equivalent of 3 p.m., and you might want to make your way relatively quickly.
Just before we go, did anybody read the text on the map out loud?
Did you say it's written in Sylvan?
Elven.
Well, I can read that.
But did you read it out loud?
I didn't yet. No, I didn't
Okay.
offer to, but I could if you'd like.
No, I was just making sure.
Okay.
I mean, Resi will probably point at it and say, "What's that saying?"
Talia will look over at Rezi and offer to read the map out loud to her. And she says, "Here you shall find that which is fixed, but not so broken, and so in time it shall be."
The map sounds like our bird friend.
Oh yeah, it does a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. The style is the authorial voice is similar. Mm-hmm.
Beseech the old magics.
There you go. Excellent point. Well, I mean, are y'all ready to go?
Yes, I think we should be heading out.
Fame that all hunt after in their lives live registered upon our brazen tombs, and then give us in disgrace of death.
Yeah, what the bird said, yeah?
But why did you have to mention tombs right before we set off on an adventure? Actually, that reminds me. Should we exchange names, I suppose, at this point? I'm Rezi. That's me. Just Rezi. Yeah, just Rezi.
Very nice to meet you. I'm Talia.
Erie is fine, yeah?
Arlo.
I love that we all only have one name. This is definitely a sign that fate intended for us to be together, like a band of one named, performers.
It certainly bodes well, Neo. Right until we are backstabbing each other.
What was that?
Nothing, dear. Nothing at all, Neo.
Hmm.
Man, things just got dark real fast.
So, presuming that you still have the basic level of trust in each other to on an adventure, I will presume that you make your way towards the location on the map. And in so doing, let's see. Forgive me as I figured this out very quickly. It should just take me one quick second. Ooh.
As far as traveling to the map destination, can Erie make a point to try and like stay just on the back end of the party?
Oh God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marlo has a tendency to be a bit distracted by the sights and particularly sounds around the party. And as we're hearing various bird song and insect chirps, I'm assuming will occasionally mimic them.
Excellent. So you... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, as we're walking and Marlo is doing that, Rezi will sort of sing a song that is weaving together both Marlo's sounds, but then also sort of the sounds around us into sort of like a complex, like melody or like harmony, complex harmony. And she will continue to drink the first glass of wine, just periodically sort of taking a draw off of it.
Gotcha. And by the way, this is a fantastic wine. It's got many fruity notes, and it has just the right amount of waxy tones that would go paired well with a cheese. And in fact, the stopper is a little bit hard to not nibble on because it is just the most excellent and magically preserved wine stopper you've ever eaten. Hopefully the only one.
Yeah, out of game wine is going to be dissatisfying for the rest of my life. So thank you for that.
I'll find a way. Don't worry. Out of game wine will be just fine.
Yeah, get to doing the R&D on the cheese stopper, please. Thank you.
Just take your wine and plug a block of cheese into it. I don't guarantee that it'll be good, but I guarantee that it will count as a stopper.
I just imagine like he's lucky that the mice have not just eaten into the wine, and there's just like all these fat, drunken mice all over his wine shop. But that's another tale for another time.
It's only a side effect of us not having a mouse character in this ragtag party.
Give it time. So you all proceed down. If you want to make a performance roll for your complex harmony, feel free to do so, but that is not entirely necessary. It's just for the fun of it. But I like the idea that you are constructing this musical accompaniment to your journey.
Okay, I rolled.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's a fantastic roll. Near perfect as you work in tandem with nature to create a song that is both beautiful and singular. Nature will never conform to this way ever again to come together in this musical construct. And, it's enough to bring a tear to your eye, perhaps, if you are so inclined to cry at the sound of music. But as you are so consumed with the thought of that beautiful and once-in-a-lifetime tune, you all notice that there are a gang of toughs who seem to have blocked your way as you proceed through the wilderness while following the tenets of the map. And you see before you a group of bandits who seems to be standing with intimidating crossed arms as they wait for you to approach. And the lead bandit takes a step forward with immense confidence and calls out, "Oi! Your lot! We're in charge of these here woods, and anyone who comes through here owes us a tithe. You give us the tithe, we let you pass. Well, think about not taking anything else."
How many of them are there?
There's about 5 of them. And hopefully y'all can see this map.
Yeah, I can see.
Yes. I would like to make a persuasion check.
Alrighty.
Wilt thou draw near the nature of the gods? This be thy doom irrevocable.
Right. Feel free to give that check. Ooh. The gruff female bandit leader takes a step back. You make it sound like you're the ones in charge in the situation. Just leave a few gold and we won't bug you. You can already tell that she backed off of her earlier bravado and is just asking for a pittance.
Marlowe takes 1 gold coin from his pouch. Here lurks no treason. Here no envy swells. Here grow no damned grudges. Here are no storms, no noise, but silence and eternal sleep. He sets it on the ground and walks past the brigands.
They all are nervous, but somewhat in awe. Some of them are still processing what you have said, but they all are certainly intimidated, if not intellectually, then all around. But yeah, they let you pass, and the female bandit leader seems to just very slowly reach for the coin and inspects it to make sure there's nothing wrong with it, and then picks it up and pockets it, and they just kind of lean their heads into their chests as they just kind of let you go and seem to have lost any of their desire for banditry, at least for the day. But excellent, I'm impressed, and Marlowe, feel free to give yourself an inspiration point. And if you don't know what that is, an inspiration point is a one-time use reroll of any D20 that you roll, but it goes away at the end of the session, so it's a use it or lose it.
Okay.
All right. So let me make sure that I didn't make some sort of error. Excellent. All right. Without much ado, you make it to the outer edges of the ruins of Mithranor, and you see a number of buildings that are decrepit and quite dilapidated, risking collapse at any moment. In fact, somewhere off in the distance, you see an old elven wizard tower fall over in a spectacular fashion, and you are both happy and sad that you were not closer to it when it happened. But as you approach this particular ruins that was detailed in the map, you notice the sound of movement within. What would you like to do as you approach this strange but active ruin site?
Resi will just sort of let out a whistle, sort of acknowledging how incredible the site is.
Can I just do a perception check to see if there's anything like that stands out?
Yeah, by all means.
Never mind. It's like a 12.
All right. So, as you approach, you can tell that there is a thin layer of kind of like this smoky cloud that is surrounding the ruins itself. Nothing to obscure vision, but you can tell that basically something is in there, and it's kicking up all of the old dust that used to belong to this ruins. And you hear the strange click and clack that you've only heard in gnomish curio shops, and it sounds like some kind of mechanical device is being used in there. You haven't yet seen anything that has betrayed that.
Does there seem to be a... Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask, does there seem to be like an obvious place that we would enter from? And also, what time of day is it right now? Like, how long did our travel take us?
Yeah, it is getting rather late. It took you maybe a handful of hours to get there, so it's about 6 p.m. The sun has just set or will set momentarily. But this is the obvious ingress into these old ruins.
Okay.
In fact, I should reveal a little bit more of this just to give you a better idea.
And what time of day is it? Did you say that? I just missed it.
6 p.m. Yeah, no worries. 6 p.m. So it's like it's basically twilight.
Okay, great.
Sorry?
No, you.
Talia would ask the group if they think it would be prudent to sleep outside for the night until it's lighter the next day, and then explore inside.
Sleep, perchance to dream. Toasted cheese.
Drink, perchance to dream.
Toasted cheese.
It's a smidge early for sleep, don't you think, Neo?
We can build a fire, entertain ourselves, enjoy a little camaraderie before we enter into this, frankly, quite alarming structure.
I think we'll draw attention to ourselves with a fire, Neo.
That is true.
Could be exciting.
Alas, toasted cheese.
As you all... As you all contemplate your leisure and eating of cheese, there are a pair of mechanical humanoid creatures that emerge from the ruins in perfect tandem, but for the unevenness of the ruin floor, and they walk with a mechanical whir and click with each step, and they stop, point their halberds at you, and in unison, so perfect that you cannot tell them apart, they say, "Halt! Who goes there?"
Rezi will take sort of another draw off of the flask of wine and just turn and look at the Kenku, expecting it to answer. It's been so articulate this far.
Alack, I like not this unnatural dealing.
Eerie responds, "There's no one here but the leaves, Neo." Deception 25, nat 20.
Excellent. So there we go. Yeah, so the mechanical beings, if they could scratch their heads, if they had the sweat to sweat and make themselves itchy, they would scratch their heads. But with lacking of those functions, they merely look at each other knowingly and curiously and decide that they must have been hearing things in their mechanical ear ports and turn around and walk back into the ruins.
Nice thinking, Irie.
Easy enough, Neo.
So is that a no on the fire, or?
I mean, at your own leisure, Neo. But it'll certainly make things exciting, Neo.
Can Rezi would like to sort of look at her companion kind of sideways and tried to take stock of, like, this cat seems to be interested in risk taking or like risky behavior. Is there anything I could do, like a little bit of an insight check into that?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Also, Sajara, where are you rolling?
I'm using dice, like physical plastic pieces in front of me.
Oh, okay, analog dice. Cool.
Yeah, the old-fashioned way. I have look. I have fancy game science dice. I'm going to use them.
You're valid.
It's like I have like $50 dice. I'm going to fucking use them as much as I can.
And I forgot to mention a potentially important detail. As you are, well, actually, before you even interact with these mechanical creatures, there was what appears to have been a echoing laughter in the woods to the north, loud enough for you to hear.
Like on the other side of the structure.
Correct.
Got it.
How do I roll in D&D Beyond?
There are a couple of ways, but the easiest way I have found is you do /R space D whatever. In this case, D20, and then add whatever relevant bonuses you have. So you would do it like that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I think she was asking in D&D Beyond. Is that correct?
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
sorry.
Sorry, yeah, not roll 20.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, you just click on the like the bonus next to the skill itself.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Does that happen because you have like the plugin that integrates Roll20 with D&D Beyond?
Yeah, I got that because you suggested it, right, Lord? I think? Yeah.
Yeah. It makes things like seamless when you start using it. And by the way, rolling physical dice is totally okay by me as well. I trust everyone here implicitly to just tell me what their dice are, so that's no big deal. But especially for people who are brand new and maybe it's helpful to like click a button and make a thing happen. Beyond 20 is super duper useful for just clicking a button on your character sheet and it translates into a roll on Roll20. And again, it still shows up in the campaign dice roll log, so that's no problem either.
Awesome. I'm installing now. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you install it, you'll notice your character sheet will then have a bunch of little red dice, and you click on that for whatever the appropriate roll is, and it'll pop a result onto the chat. Also, it lets me do really fun things like... Oh, man. Never mind. I was going to show you one of the really cool things of this. Oh, no. I'll show you an example. I can do stuff like this. And show you monsters. But...
Oh, that's really cool.
There was no picture of a bandit. It was just like a generic water painting, and so that wasn't helpful at all. But yes. So let's see. I see a history check. Is that to kind of discern the nature of these ruins?
No. That was just me testing the plugin.
Okay.
Please disregard.
Sure, no worries.
Yeah, sorry, mine as well. Actually, can I roll a check? I don't know, is it called like perception or something, just to check Irie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which one would that be under then?
So there is a skill called perception, and all of the skills are in alphabetical order.
Oh shit! It is.
Are you trying to get insight into like her motivations?
Yeah,
or...
yeah, exactly.
Oh, it would be the one. I'm sorry. Yeah, it would be insight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, please hold the gal out because I got a 3.
And by the way, Talia, I hope we haven't been leaving you in the lurch. I know sometimes when you're brand new, it feels like everybody's throwing around these terms and ideas. I hope we've given you space to be able to do the things you want to do.
No, it's a learning curve, but you guys are being great, and I am slowly catching up, so I appreciate it.
For sure.
Feel free also, if you want to back channel in the Discord, because we can answer questions there pretty quickly too.
Right. Okay. So I rolled. Is that terrible, that roll?
No, well, I guess it's the answer is it depends, but I would say if Irie would like to maybe be what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe less than straightforward, Irie could make a deception check.
I think you're muted, Zagaro.
Mm-hmm.
What is the question you had regarding Eerie?
Why?
Because
why they seem to
perception
want
checks
us
are
to
weird.
go do dangerous things.
Yeah, I think we're both just picking up on Irie seems to have a little risk-taking behavior going on, so just kind of seeing what's up with that, what's going on with this cat a little bit.
Yeah.
So are you just wanting to know what's with the pursuit of fun thing?
Is it fun? That's what we want to know. Is it just the pursuit of fun?
Yeah, we could derive from an insight check that, you know what I mean, something about the character, oh, this character has nefarious intent, they're trying to get you into some shit, or it could just be oh no, they're just a little mischievous, they like to get into things.
Oh yeah,
is it fun or malice?
As far as you can tell from how Eerie is looking at you and responding, it is purely that she thinks it would be fun to purely enjoyable to just see what happens with a fire.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
It is not malicious intent. There is not a grain of malicious intent. There is no ulterior motive. Ye girl just thinks it'll be fun.
So, I remember that there was a mention of laughter off in the distance.
That is
Right.
correct.
And I want to make a history check to see if I remember anything about spooky laughter in the ruins of Mithranor.
So that would actually be a history check?
Yeah.
I might have missed it. Let me double
work?
check. And yep,
Oh,
there it is.
okay.
Right. Yes. I was looking in the wrong spot. Yes, you have heard that there are a plethora, and I do mean a plethora, of different stories related to Mithranor and the various spirits and old souls that seem to inhabit it, which includes a number of mischievous ghosts that are known to play tricks, scare off any potential visitors, and have been known to use sounds like the sound of laughter to either scare or confuse intruders.
Okay.
Now, that's not to say that's what this was, but that seems to match up at least with the old stories.
Marlowe sort of waves his arms to try to get the attention of the group, and then makes a listening gesture. Alas, what danger will it be to us? There's one did laugh in his sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other.
Talia looks very worried after hearing this.
Murder, no. Could be exciting. Do you have plans?
Okie dokie. Well, if we're going to get into a murder situation, I do think maybe it would be best for us to, first of all, enjoy the night since it could be our last, and maybe also, get some rest, strategize a little bit for the day ahead. What do you all think?
We're absolutely in hostile territory, Niam. Should we establish a watch? Do we even trust each other enough for a watch, Niam?
Talia trusts all of you.
Bold.
Oh yeah, I feel like we've known each other, for a really long time. I'm really excited. We're friends, right? We're all close.
Are we, or did we just meet 6 hours ago?
6 hours.
No, but
6
I know what you
years.
mean. Yeah.
Who has the time to worry about the minutia, Niam?
Sometimes deep and meaningful relationships happen within a very short amount of time. Love comes and goes quickly. Sometimes very quickly, actually. Pretty quickly.
I agree, Niam. We can trust each other, Niam.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Marlo walks up to... I'm sorry. Talia?
Yeah.
Talia?
Talia's fine.
Talia. And says, "You are thought here to be the most senseless and fit man for the constable of this watch. Therefore bear you the lantern."
Talia agrees with that and decides to take the first watch. Moon elves don't actually sleep. They just meditate to regain energy, so I wouldn't be sleeping anyways. So I'm happy
This is
to
your
do that.
charge. You shall comprehend all vagrant men. You are to bid any man stand in the prince's name.
So Talia is going to take up the watch, but it should be noted she's very nervous about this. And is second-guessing her decision to leave studying.
Are you certain you want to take the full night's watch, Niam? Or do you want to split it?
We can split it.
Hear me out, dear Niam. For your safety, I don't recommend trying to watch the entire night, Niam. Lots of things can happen for 8 hours.
Please don't remind me. Yeah.
You will need some time to rest too, so one of us should relieve you halfway through so that you can get... How long do you need to meditate for usually?
About 4 hours.
Then how about we switch midway through the night?
That would be good. Irie, do you want to take over the watch after I'm done?
Certainly, Niam.
Thank you.
I will rest as needed, Niam.
DM, can you remind me of what the rules for rest are in terms of how many hours you need in order to be fully rested, how many hours, leave you exhausted? I just don't quite remember this. It's been a while since I played.
So, in effect, you need to rest over the course of 8 hours. You may not sleep over those 8 hours, but you will effectively rest. 1 hour of that 8 hours can be light activity, but if you are an elf or some other creature that doesn't need the full time, some of that can be light activity. For instance, elves only sleep half the time, so 4 of those hours can be light activity, like reading or doing light chores or doing some other low impact activity. So for instance, let's say you were carrying heavy buckets of water up and down a hill to fill up your rations and whatnot. That would not be considered light activity, but just about anything else would be.
Okay.
So how many hours do non-elves, folks who have sort of regular rest mechanics, how many hours do we need to be actually fully asleep?
Effectively 7.
Okay, cool. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Arlo finds a comfy spot, kind of moves things around a little bit, makes sort of a little nest, pulls out one book, and then also a blank book next to it, and begins fastidiously copying the first book into the second. He does this for about an hour and then goes to sleep.
One thing I did want to point out is that you hear, at least for the first few hours of rest, the mechanical whirring and clicking that comes from within the ruins. But after about the second hour, you hear the kind of click, clack, and mechanical motion of these creatures walking as they are walking away. And before too long, within about the span of about 10 minutes, it fades into the background as it seems to get fainter and fainter until it is gone.
Interesting. So I guess Resi will sit up with Talia for, I guess, like the first hour of her watch. She can sort of tell that Talia's nervous. And also, too, Resi has a little bit of drinking to do before she's ready to curl up and go to sleep.
Who's taking the first watch? I'm so sorry.
That would be me.
Okay.
Talia, sorry.
No worries. So these ruins, I didn't describe terribly well, but they're like 2 stories tall, in spaces. Some of the areas have kind of crumbled apart. But from one of the second-story windows, this strange creature kind of like plops out and falls onto the ground. Apparently not bothered at all, just kind of like falls like a cartoon character and flattens like a pancake. Picks itself up, looks at you, and scurries right back into the building.
Am I still awake for this part?
Let's say yes.
Okay.
Resi will turn and look at Talia and ask, is it just this fantastic wine that we purchased and I have consumed like almost the entire flask of? Or did a strange creature just fall out of that building, look at us, and then go right back inside?
Very nervously, Talia responds that no, it is not the wine, and that she too saw the creature pancake itself out of the castle. And she's a little freaked out. I can't remember, sorry, Irie, are you awake right now?
That's a good question.
Erie should be asleep because she is not taking the first watch.
Okay.
And cats are very good at falling asleep.
Oh yeah.
What sneaking fellow comes yonder? Marlowe's tidying up his books and getting ready to go check it out.
All right. Yeah, you can kind of sneak in. You hear these like high-pitched giggles emit from deeper within the ruins.
I mean, that sounds like the fun time that Irie's been looking for, and that I personally wouldn't mind getting involved with.
Marlowe tries to sneak towards the entrance, but he's a city bird and is breaking every branch underfoot along the way.
Yeah, no worries. You approach noisily as you get further into this area. We'll say you get a pretty good look. Well, actually, here's a great question. Do you have any means of seeing, or do you bring a light source with you?
That's a good question.
I would assume that whenever we sort of set up provisional camp, we would have had a torch for the lodge.
Yeah, and I've got a candle, and I probably would have had one of those lit to do my transcriptions by. So let's say I've got my candle in my hand and my books packed away.
Perfect.
So not a lot of light, but just a bit.
And then this is just a chintzy bonfire, just so you get the idea for where it is. But we'll say that kind of illuminates partway into this building. But I'm revealing the stuff here, and you get a decent look into this building. You can move your token in there if you want. If you hover over it, you should have the ability to click and drag. I think. If not, I can fix that.
Yeah, I don't seem to be able to.
Oops. Shoot.
Nope, works on my end.
For me, it just drags the whole map.
Same.
Maybe I can... Wait, maybe this will work. Ah, there we go. Just like
Cool.
right there.
Yay.
That's as far as we're going.
You hear the giggles intensify, and these creatures kind of like step just into the outer edges of the candlelight as they show their decrepit, twisted forms. And you see these creatures not much more tall than 2 feet, and with mouths full of teeth that look like they go in every which direction, and these dead shark-like eyes as they kind of walk, scratching their claws against the walls or the floor as their arms are long enough to just kind of drag, and they cackle instead of giggle now as they seem to approach with ill intent. Do you wish to stand and fight, or do you wish to move back to the safety of the bonfire?
Can I also ask whether we can see any of this happening? Like, what can we back by the bonfire see of these events?
Let's see. Just to give you an idea, there's this handy little ruler tool. But I'll say that you can very likely, from where you're at, see like kind of one of the creatures just at the edge of vision, and you kind of get the idea of what's going on. You definitely hear the cackling. It's not exactly the same as the laughing you heard earlier, but it sounds like it could do in a pinch.
So Rezi will sort of observe Marlowe to see what his reaction is before deciding whether to be alarmed or not.
So I will say that these things kind of just take the extra step forward to be fully in the light, and they look like these grotesque little creatures, not even as orderly as goblins themselves. They look like these. If somebody asked a child to draw a picture of a goblin and then gave it form, these things are just these, boardwalk caricatures, massive heads, spindly arms, fat little bodies, and just menace in every movement.
Marlowe looks at them, and despite his fear, would like to make an insight check. Do these things mean harm, or are they just incredibly creepy?
It is easy enough to do without a roll. They mean harm. You can see that they are loping towards you. Their uneven walk is the movement of a predator, something that is intending to strike.
Are you going to say roll for initiative? Are we going to do that?
I was.
Are we there
I was
now?
about. Yes.
Okay. not to step on your toes, but like you're lampshading it real hard.
Is it possible while we're doing this for me to take 1 minute to refill my beverage and also turn on the lights in my apartment? It's gotten dark.
100%. Yes, now is a great time. I'm gonna just roll initiative for these creepy misanthropes. In the meanwhile, feel free to do what you need to.
Okay, I will return in just a couple minutes.
I'm gonna step
I
away
will
for
also
1
take
second.
just a second.
I rolled a 10 on initiative, and you
Okay.
can deduct that if you want it to be like at disadvantage because I was technically asleep.
No, it should all be good.
Okay, 10 then, and I'll step away for 1 sec.
Cool. No worries. Take your time. Excuse me.
Okay, I am back.
Welcome back.
Well,
My initiative is a 13.
all
Everyone
right.
made it back.
Does it matter that my character can see in the dark really well because she's a moon elf? Is that
Matters a lot.
important? Okay.
Yeah, that's super important. There's some
Dark
really
vision.
cool. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say dark vision is just super important.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
There's some really cool features that I will eventually implement that effectively map the ability to like see in the dark and so on into the game. I just was not able to do that here, but we will probably have that in place by next game.
Cool.
For now, we'll wing it.
Where does one see dark vision on D&D Beyond on this sheet?
You will probably go features and traits, and then go to racial traits.
It should also be listed on just your senses list on the far left
That's
side of
okay.
your character sheet.
Yeah.
So it'll have your passive perception, your passive int, and then your passive wisdom, and then dark vision if you have it.
Gotcha. Okay, I do not have dark vision.
Neither do I. So we've got half the party who has it, I'm guessing, and half that don't.
Actually, I'm wondering, it might just be the one of you. No, it's two of you.
Yuri has dark vision up to 60 feet. She is still a cat.
Sorry, where did you see it?
So on your character sheet,
Mhm.
where it says passive wisdom perception, and then passive int, and then passive wisdom insight, just below that it should say dark vision up to 60 feet. If you have dark vision to 60 feet. And I can screen cap it on mine so you can see what I'm talking about. If you'd
Sure.
like.
Have we reached the point yet where we are working through initiative
Oh,
order?
sorry, I found it.
Or
I need to roll initiative. I'm just trying. Okay, there. I found it. I'm good.
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sujiro.
Still going to post it just in case.
I assume that while I was gone, initiative was explained to Kitten.
Mm-hmm.
Right, cool.
Also, you can just click the initiative button to roll for initiative.
Right,
if
but
you
what it is being explained is also helpful.
Yeah.
So the short version, and to kind of go back to the earlier question, I don't think it was quite explained, but the short version of initiative is that basically everyone rolls a d20. They add their dexterity modifier, and the result dictates what order everyone goes in. High roll goes first, and you move on down until you've gone through everybody's turns, and then you start over again. Every turn is composed of like the first person going down the line all the way to the last. I say that because there are some effects that take place over the number of turns or the course of a turn, and those will become apparent when they happen. But if you are able to click on the initiative button on your character sheet, it should be just under the shield that is your armor class or AC. And if you click on your character token before you click on the initiative, it'll automatically put you on the initiative order. But if you don't, that's okay. I can always throw you on there too.
And the narrative justification for initiative is just that you are more likely to react faster to an event if you are more dexterous. But also, like, other things too can affect your initiative. So, like, me being wasted, like, the DM might penalize my initiative if that is the case.
All right.
Not as yet. And then Talia, are you able to click on your initiative or just roll a d20 maybe?
Yeah, I can do that.
It looks like it just came through. Okay, sorry about that. Cool. I will be kind and take the higher of the two. And I don't know if anyone has any opinions about who should go first between Talia and Marlo, because they are both on 13.
I would think Marlo because he's closer.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Works perfectly for me. So combat starts, and we have let's say Gremlin Blue making his way over to the first available victim, and going to take a shank and attempt to strike with it. Marlo, what is your armor class?
It is 16.
All right, so this creature moves forward and strikes true upon a vital spot on your body. Thankfully, that vital spot is armored, so it kind of is pushed back with a clang, and this creature just kind of grunts in dissatisfaction as it does not gain purchase on your bodily form. We then go to Rezi.
Yes, so seeing this happen to the little birdman. Actually, how tall are you, Marlo?
I think I'm 4'2" or something. See if I can
Yes.
find it again.
So the little birdman who Rezi at 4'9" towers over. She will move sort of swiftly as she's going, as fast as she can on like her little boots, like little goat legs. She will sort of throw back the very last of the wine, toss the flask to the side, and try to come up next to her friend. And you will also have to remind me where I do not remember movement mechanics, like how much each of these squares is, and then how many of them it can move in a turn.
Let me see. I am not up to date on how fast a satyr can move, but it looks like your speed is 35 feet. Each
Yes.
square is effectively 5 feet, and you can move up to 7 squares.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, 35 feet. Each square is 5 foot, and I can move 7 squares. That's what you just said, correct?
Correct.
Got it. Okay. And we can only move up and down. We can't move diagonally, or we can move diagonally?
You can. Some people get a little persnickety about it, but I don't have any issue with it. You just move diagonally, and that's any diagonal movement just counts as a 5 foot square.
All right, cool. Thank you. So, and can you recap for me also what all can be accomplished on a turn? I know there's movement, and then like a couple other things that can be done in one single turn.
Yes, so you can move, and you can take an action, and you can take a bonus action. Now, it can get into the weeds, all the things you can do with an action, but to kind of break it down rather quickly, an action can be composed of an attack, of an additional movement, basically doubling your movement, or you can do a handful of other things such as drinking a potion, helping a friend, finding something in your pack, donning a shield, and so on. But the simple options are attacking, dodging, which basically makes you a little harder to hit, and taking an additional movement.
Okay, so since I did not use the entirety, since I did not use my action to move, to dash, then I will use it to attack this creature who's attacking my tiny friend. And so, like, as Rezzy's running, she throws the flask to the side and pulls out her crossbow. Sort of, it's slung across her back, attached to her pack, and so she'll sort of sling it around, and she will fire on this blue misanthrope.
By all means.
And I apologize if it takes me like a little while. It's been a really long time since I played, but also too, I've never used D&D Beyond, which I am in love with.
No worries.
So is there like a special attack situation here, or where do I click?
So you're going to go on your character sheet, and you're going to see just under your armor and initiative, there's a place that says like actions, spells, inventory, and so on. Go to your actions, and you should be able to make an attack from those two options. I'm looking at your character sheet. So you have unarmed strike and ram. If you want to have equipped an item, you can also have, and I'm actually just going to do this for you. I'm going to equip your stuff on you, and
Yeah.
you can use a crossbow or a dagger if you prefer. Although the ram is a perfectly fine option, given that you're just barreling into action.
Okay, I will go ahead and do the ram then, so I can roll it while you're loading me up. And I appreciate that. I was sort of looking at it and I was like, "Where's my thing?" I guess I didn't realize I had to like click an equip situation in here.
And I'm going to just say this real because it's not super intuitive, but if you click on the word RAM, for instance, you'll see the description pop up on your right, and then click on the Beyond 20 button at the top right. That will do your entire attack, including the damage.
Okay, I'm going to roll again to do that.
Sure. Ooh,
Okay,
excellent.
I see.
So yeah, you ram, as is the namesake of this attack, right into this creature. It is frail, and creatures don't normally do this, but you hit it so hard that it basically like is thrown back. That's just how small and weak it is. And it just kind of picks itself up and looks like you've broken like most of its internal structure. But it's still standing on not much more than cartilage and rage. But yeah, you have severely wounded that creature. Let's see. Cool. And then if you have a bonus action, you can use it. But if you want to call that your turn, you can, and we would move to the next person.
Can you clarify what? Okay, so the roll was 18. I did 2 damage. That's right.
Correct.
Okay. So it was 1d4. I guess I'm just confused by the fact that there's 2 d4s up here.
Oh, right. That first one was because you just rolled the damage. That's why I said like to click on the word and make it do the whole attack. But sometimes you just click on a portion of your action, and it just does that one part of it,
Gotcha.
as opposed to the bang.
Gotcha.
And if you feel if you would rather, I can take the 5 damage as well.
No. 2 is completely fine. I was just trying to make sure I knew what I was looking at here. Okay,
Gotcha.
Let me look at bonus actions. What do I got? So I will go ahead and no. Actually, I will. Okay. So everybody's like getting treated to like thus far. Resi has been sort of quirky, a little odd, but now you feel as though you're getting to see sort of her entire deal, all of what she's about. So you watch as she just sort of runs into the fray and just rams into this creature with her horns. And as she's running, you hear all of her jewelry just like jangling and like tinkling as she's running. And it itself sounds like a song. And she rams into this guy, seems to sort of, upset him, do a little bit of damage. And then as soon as that happens, she turns to Marlowe, puts one furry hand on his shoulder, I guess you could call it that, and she will sort of just sort of like sing a phrase from a song in order to give him bardic inspiration.
Ooh.
So anybody within 60 feet of me, which I think would include all of us, gets inspired by this song and gains an inspiration die, which is 1d6. So for 10 minutes, any of you can add 1d6 to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. So this can be added after seeing the roll, but before knowing the outcome. So, like, if you roll something and you're like, oh shit, that sucks, then you can add your inspiration die to that.
Yes. And it is a wall of text, but if you want to reference that, basically it just kind of gives you the lowdown. But yes, the quick and dirty is if you want to amplify a d20 roll, just add a d6 to it. You get to do that once, at least until you get it refreshed by Resi. But all right, fantastic turn there, Resi. That's awesome. I love that description. Let's see. I don't want to skip over you before you've gotten your due. Would you like to do anything else?
No, that is it. Yeah, that's great.
What? One of the bigger, meaner of these creatures, and when I say bigger, it might be like all of 2 inches taller and wider, but it emerges from the shadows and rushes forward with another shiv ready to strike. And what is your armor class, Resi?
I believe that is 11.
All right. So that is going to be a solid hit for 4 damage as this creature slashes at you with murderous intent. And it cackles in glee as it kind of does a little dance. So happy that it has drawn blood. But that all having been said and done, we now go to Marlowe.
I'll use the advantage of my power and lay the summer's dust with showers of blood. Marlowe pulls out his 2 rapiers and brandishes them with a flourish. And steps forward here to sort of protect Resi, and then is going to attack the orange creature with both of them.
Do it.
Sorry?
I said do it.
So for that first hit, that's a 20. Not nat 20,
Fantastic.
but 16 plus 4.
Yes.
Second one probably does not hit.
Let's see.
With an
It does
8.
not. But I want to remind you, you do have that inspiration. Not the bardic. Well, you have the bardic inspiration, but you also have the inspiration I gave you earlier. So you can just re-roll your d20.
Ah, yeah. Let's go ahead and do that for this one. Okay. 15.
Fantastic. So both are hits.
All right. So first blow is a 9. Second blow is a 10.
The first strike lops that creature's head off. You can direct your second strike to the other creature in range if you like.
That would be perfect.
Yeah, you kind of, with a flourish and a twirl, manage to cut the lower quarter of this creature, separating it from the rest, and are able to destroy it as well. And you have, in a single fell movement, defeated 2 of these disgusting creatures.
This be the doom irrevocable.
Very nice. Talia, it is your turn to act if you wish. With your dark vision, you are able to see fully into this ruined corridor, and you can see the 2 remaining enemies. It's up to you if you want to take a physical action, such as shooting a bow or throwing a dagger, or if you want to cast a spell that might turn the tide of war.
I have 1 spell.
You should definitely have more.
I only see 1. Sorry, could you help me with that?
Right. No, absolutely. I'm gonna just throw a couple of them on here, and let me see. Yeah, 1 and 2 and 3. Actually, no, that's 2. There we go. That's a proper wizard spell. And then I'm just gonna give you some tried and true favorites. Maybe one of those, and that, and that. Okay. So the next and most prominent thing we need to worry about is prepared spells. So we're going to say 1, 2, and 3. Actually. All right. So if you, I don't know if it's going to pop up right away, but if you want to refresh by hitting like F5 or just refresh the page, you should see all of your spells now. And this being said, if you ever want to go back in and change the spells you have, feel free. This is just kind of me throwing spells together.
Oh, okay. So I see 2. Is that how many I should have?
You should have like 8 total that you can use.
It says Chromatic Orb, Ray of Frost, and just Unarmed Strike.
Oh, that's under your actions. Would you click on spells? It's just to the right.
Oh, it's different. Okay.
Just slightly, sorry.
Okay. Can I cast them from there, or do I need to move closer first?
You can if you have that Beyond 20 installed, and there's like that big red button that says cast, and you can just click on that.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, Chromatic Orb. Okay, so I'll just pick one of these guys for you to have attacked, but that is a heck of an attack. You can choose the type of damage that it does, and just it doesn't make an effective difference in this specific case, but of the available options, which do you choose?
Oh, I chose cold.
Excellent. So yeah, you create an orb of cold that draws so much energy from the area that it dims the bonfire for just a moment. And in doing so, you throw this orb at the creature, drawing all warmth out of it until it just becomes a desiccated ice sculpture before it shatters.
Oh my god.
And in doing that, the very next creature to act is the last of the enemies, and he kind of folds his ears back, his weird like floppy ears, in fear as he turns around and just runs with all the might that his legs can muster. You hear the creature call from the darkness with a strangled voice. Revenge! Dismantle! And after it makes that declaration, it runs into the further ruins, hiding itself in some dark corner.
No doubt our grief and yours may one day court it when we are more familiar with revenge.
Excellent. So that is combat. That is combat concluded. You have a better view of these ruins now that you don't have the specter of danger in front of you. And you notice a couple of curious things. Primarily that this room here, and I'm just going to draw a vague shape to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. This room here seems like half of it is in good as new condition. You see carpet laid down, you see furniture that has been fixed, you see a brazier that is burning with some hot coals, and you see a table with a book laying on it, as if this room has not been touched by time. It looks like it is in great condition. The upper half of the room looks like it had been similarly untouched but recently destroyed. And you can kind of see the telltale gouges from the strange gremlins as they clawed and broke everything in that side of the room. And you think you might have even interrupted them, in a sense, as they were dismantling bits of the room.
Well, Marlowe sees a book, and Marlowe's going to go look at that book.
Does Marlowe read Elven?
Not a bit.
So it's a very fine book, and the squiggly lines within it are very nicely arranged. You could stare at them for hours.
Marlowe just, studies the binding and looks at the beauty of it, and he's an archivist, so maybe he at least recognizes the alphabet enough to know that it's Elven and can take it over to Talia and sort of hand it to her.
Certainly. And I would say, I would bet that Marlowe has enough expertise to know that this book was bound probably in the last 10 hours. This is a fresh book.
Toasted cheese. Beseech the old magics. Oh gods, that one might read the Book of Fate and see the revolution of the times.
As Marlowe is sort of losing his mind over this book, Rezi sort of like smooths her dress, which is now sort of dirty and rumpled, and sort of like wipes away some blood that is trickling from her ear. She feels really bad. Like, she does not feel great. That dude hit her pretty hard, and so she kind of like limps over a little bit to one of the creature's dead bodies and just sort of kicks it with one hoof. but then we'll sort of start searching them to see if there's anything on them.
Marlo,
By all means. Go ahead.
Marlo after a moment of book rapture, realizes that Rezi is quite suffering and goes over and does lay on hands.
Ooh.
So you should be back at full health if I'm reading this correctly.
Yes.
I can restore 5 HP.
Paladins lay on. Yes.
Yeah.
What happens when you lay on hands?
So Marlo comes up and just sort of like puts his hands very gently on your shoulders, and you feel this nice fuzzy warmth flooding through you, and you kind of hear the rustling of book leaves, just very faintly. And suddenly, like, you just feel better. All of your wounds are gone.
Rezi will sort of like tear up a little bit at the very sweet gesture, and then pull the cheese cork from the wine flask out of her cleavage and hand it to you to give you something for the trouble that you just went to.
Toasted cheese. Marlo puts it happily in his pack for later when he can afford time to snack.
Rezi, you find an abundance of gremlin teeth. You hear that some people use these for gambling games, but they're not worth a whole lot.
I will take them.
There's about a good 24 irregular gremlin teeth. The only kind there are.
They are my teeth now.
And Ari, would you like to take any action in this? I know you were not able to participate in combat, but if you would like to do any other post-combat activity, you're more than welcome to.
Ari kind of just like kind of rises from by the bonfire with a long stretch, notices the battle formations, third teeth, oddly, and the bloodied corpses of several goblins, the bloodied corpses of her ally, and she says, well, clearly I missed some action, you know? Should we strike while the iron is hot and follow the men?
Yes, I think that resting is maybe out of the question at this point.
I know I'm not going to get any more rest after that, so I agree.
Let them measure us by what they will. We'll measure them a measure and be gone.
Then let's head inward, Niam.
As you all are making plans to head further, one of the mechanical men seems to have snuck up behind you and walks right up to the bonfire and speaks in with the metallic voice once more and says, "Halt! Who goes there?"
No one here but us leaves, Niam.
Oh, I'm not falling for that one again. Are you dismantling our hard work?
I mean, I rolled a 24, so like... Take that into consideration. That was a 19.
I mean, the mechanical man probably doesn't believe that the area is there, but the mechanical man does see the rest of you at least.
Well, shit. Sucks for you guys.
"'Tis I, 'tis Marlo, 'tis I."
Well, at least one of you is being cordial.
I'm called Talia. We mean you no harm and we haven't dismantled anything.
Talia, as you speak, he turns and it seems like notices you for the first time in full, and he bows. In fact, not bows, he kneels. And he says, "Milady, I am so sorry. I didn't notice you there. Please, I am at your order, as are my men. Anything you ask, we will do it within our ability.
Talia is stunned at that. Is it just speaking like a common tongue that everyone can understand, or is it speaking Elven to me?
You know what? I will say that once it notices you in particular, it begins speaking in Elven.
Oh, okay.
So all of that stuff, starting with Milady, it was saying that all in Elven.
Oh, okay. So Talia would say, this must be some relic of my people from the past. It speaks to me in Elven. And then she would turn to Aerie and ask what they think that they should do next. She is unsure.
Well, clearly you have some purchase with it, Neum. Maybe ask it for information. It doesn't seem to notice that I'm here.
Talia nods and turns back to the mechanical man and asks it what problems that they've been having with things being dismantled.
Do you bid it to respond in Common or Elven?
Elven's fine.
Okay. So yeah, it responds effectively to say that they have been on a lifelong mission, and when he says lifelong, he means many dozens of years, perhaps up to 60, where they have been attempting to reconstruct bits of the ruined city, potentially for the return of the elves as they come back to reclaim the jewel of the empire. But they have been thwarted for over 60 years in doing so, because every time they go to fix something, the previous thing that they went and fixed then becomes dismantled by the gremlins. So they've been fighting this incredible war of attrition against the gremlins, both in fixing the ruins, but also in engaging in small skirmishes with those gremlins between bouts of intense fixing.
Oh wow, that is quite the history. Is there anything that we can do to help?
Milady, it would be rather uncouth for me to ask you the nobility of this rather unfinished capital city to defend it yourself. We are here at your order. But if your servants are keen to help us, we would accept their aid in destroying the nest of these creatures before they regroup and multiply.
Talia smiles wryly at the robotic human and says, my servants would be more than happy to help out. Isn't that right? She turns behind her and looks into seemingly nothing, but she knows that Aerie is there, crouching.
I don't know who can speak and or understand Elven, but I presume that that those who don't just hear this and don't necessarily react.
Mm-hmm.
Aerie is doing her best to understand Common at this point, to be honest.
Yeah, Resi does not really understand anything and doesn't seem particularly concerned with the conversation either. She's sort of still trying to straighten herself up.
Marlo takes the book back and walks up to the mechanical man. Lighter than you, snow on a raven's back. He holds out the book beseechingly.
Sorry, is he holding it up to the mechanical man or to me?
To the mechanical man.
Okay.
So what do you hold up to him? I'm sorry.
The book. The fresh book.
Oh. He takes it gingerly and inspects it and just looks back at you and says, if you're curious of the contents of this book, This is an ancient book of recipes. I wouldn't want to take it from you if it belongs to you, but her nobleness is likely to have more use for it than you, unless you are a purveyor of elven cuisine.
Marlowe turns around, hands the book very, very quickly to Talia, and then just starts muttering the word recipes. Off in a corner.
Talia.
He seems.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say he seems unduly upset by this.
Oh, poor Marlowe. Oh, Talia exclaims, taking the book from him as he wanders off, muttering angrily to himself. I'm not sure what all that was about. She then switches to speaking the common tongue and turns to Irie and to Rezi and explains the situation involving the mechanical man and what his purpose is there and what the backstory is regarding the gremlins and the ruins. She also says to Irie that it's probably okay to stop hiding.
Irie has no intent to stop hiding.
The mechanical man introduces himself formally as RF682, or 82 for short, and calls out to Marlowe and then says, if it is books that you seek, I can take you to our safe house. In fact, I would recommend it. As quaint as this outdoor campfire is, the safe house will provide you ample safety and room, as the name implies, for you to rest until the morning. And in addition, has quite a lovely little library.
Lovely little library. Safe house.
I think the trek over to the safe house might be a good place to stop for tonight. As we kind of wind down and look towards the next session. But I think that's like a good natural stopping point if y'all are cool with that. But that being said, I am hopeful that you all enjoyed the game and that for those of you who have maybe had less experience, that was a good kind of learning opportunity, but also for those of you who have more experience, I hope that it passed muster.
No, this was a lot of fun. I said this to Sujar and Mard in a message with them, but I really appreciate that you started with asking about people's limits and what they're comfortable with. A lot of TMs really don't do that or think about it, so that was really great. Thank you.
Most certainly.
Yeah, thank you very much. This has been really fun, and I've really appreciated your patience and explanations through everything. So
yes, absolutely.
You were fantastic. Exactly
Awesome.
what I was expecting.
Well, thank you. No, I've run games for middle school boys in previous careers, and that will teach you patience to withstand anything. So yeah, you'll all have been marvelous.
You've been talking yourself up for months, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he actually is up to what he is saying he's doing. So I'm reasonably impressed.
I'm very impressed.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Much appreciated.
So, do we want to continue this at the same time next week, or?
Yes, I've set aside this time for y'all, so.
Great.
Yeah,
Likewise.
this works for me.
I have the time penciled in, so I am good for this time next week. And one thing that sometimes comes up is the desire to play when people are out. And I know that sometimes there's a threshold So, like, if one person is out, I figure we can still play with 3 people. Would we want to play with 2 people? If just 2 people had to be out for whatever reason?
I feel like so is it only going to be the 4 of us? I had thought that there was sort of like more interest for a minute. If it's only going to be the 4 of us, I think if one person out is fine, but 2 people out like starts to get.
That sounds right.
Yeah, 2 people being out with this group would be very limited.
Mm-hmm. Unless
Yeah.
we like those 2 have something like really specific to do that we've kind of set up in advance.
That would be a very like you could do like a very interesting like Gaiden kind of story, but not like anything adjacent to main plot.
Makes sense. And that was kind of what I figured, but I wanted to make sure to get your input on that. And then additionally, regarding more people, so there was like this weird flurry of activity in the last like month and a half of people who are interested. I'm gonna try and reach out to people. For instance, there was someone who like joined the Discord and then promptly or summarily left, and so I'm just gonna poke them, but I'm not gonna go out of my way in case they were like, no, I found a game or whatever. But Magin Crucifixus did express some interest, so I might send a message their way to see.
Majin wants to join in. He is more than welcome, in my opinion. I can't speak for everyone here, obviously, but like, I think he would be fun, and I think he'd mesh well. But also, he's in Norway.
Oh boy,
So
yeah.
There might be some time conflicts, whereas we have like maybe an hour between us. I know that Count Drincula's on the far west coast, but like that's 2 hours from me. But like Norway is a far cry from that.
Yeah, I've done games with people who are like in Norway and South Africa, which ironically they were in the same time zone, but it was like we would start at like 2 p.m. and that was like midnight for them or something weird. I can't remember, but it was a weird kind of arrangement. But no, so with that in mind, do we want more people, or do we feel like this is an okay configuration?
I really am not a fan of games that have more than 5 people. 4 is ideal for me. 5 is like cool. When you get above 5, I think it starts to like be difficult for folks to have their moment in the spotlight. But also too, I think with Kitten being new, it's much harder to sort of like onboard a new person if there's like more and more experienced folks. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Makes sense.
agree with that. Like 4 is like the ideal number of players IMO.
I agree too. I just didn't want to like be negative in case anybody felt like maybe it was a too small group, because I have heard people express that. But honestly, my ideal is between 3 and 5.
Yeah, that sounds good. If there's like one other person who really, really wants in, I'm okay with that, but that would probably be my limit as well.
Cool. I actually won't. I won't query anyone else. We'll just keep it at 4, unless it just happens to fall in our laps,
Okay.
and someone just really says that they want to. But we'll keep it where it is right now, and I think I'll have a floating seat open in case whether soon or down the line someone decides that they might want to join. But I would agree that 5 as a cap might not be the worst idea. I think we should agree to that.
Like I said, if Majin really, really wants in, like I would absolutely be cool with them. But also, like 1, Norway, 2, his daughter is going to be born like probably like soonish. I lose track of time. So like he's gonna be plenty busy.
Oh yeah. Having a child be born, that's a torpedo to the old free time for sure. So yeah, we'll just let that kind of happen as it may, but I'm not gonna poke that bear, as it were.
Okay, well, tonight was a lot of fun. Thank all of you guys for playing with me.
Yep.
And
Thank
I
you
hope
for
I
you.
was okay and not terrible.
You were great.
you
Don't
were
worry.
great.
We were fantastic. I want to shout everyone out because everyone was fantastic. and exemplary in the way that they played their characters. So I'm very happy with how that went. Sometimes I feel like I have to go out of my way to prompt people to kind of be in character, but I didn't have to do any of that here. So y'all deserve a pat on the back.
Thank you. It was great, y'all. Have a good night.
Yes.
Yeah, same to you.
Yes, definitely.
Good night. Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you for watching, Dip. It was really cute. It went on a little longer than I thought it would actually, but that was almost 3 hours. But honestly, like, the time flew by because I was having so much fun. I like the story so far. Like, when we just started playing, I was really nervous because I was not sure what to expect. But, yeah, we just kind of got into it. I think it's kind of funny that our characters all met up at the same place in that square or whatever it was. And then just, like, went up to that lady and started talking to each other, and now we're all friends. But I guess you gotta start somewhere, and I think it's cute. Yeah, I had a good time. Thank you for watching. I hope that we are relatively entertaining for you. And we'll have to see where things go next week on Wednesday at 7:30 Central Daylight Time. So have a good night, and I'll be on Discord. Bye! Have a good night.